To the owner of the white sedan, license plate SCN 240, I repeat, to the owner of the white sedan, license plate SCN 240. I wonder if you've thought about this moment all that time ago when you saw a humble cyclist in your corner vision disappear. Somewhere between the metal and the road, the broken glass and the unknown, the stains of oil and, you know, I wonder. To the owner of the, I can't even see you, your headlights blinding, I can only hear your growling quickly approaching, encroaching on my imaginary half-meter wide stretch of bitumen that I thought I could call mine. You know, I envision my body pinned between your car and the next every time another vehicle goes racing by. I envision the creative ways I'll try to memorize your license plate as you pull away and I lay there immobilized. But do you even see me at all? To the owner of the blue SUV, license plate TFX 493, I wonder if you see me as your equal, even if the cost and weight of your vehicle is 300 times that of mine. What's a life worth? Encased behind your sleek designed mobile fort, I too am a person with a geographic mission, just with a few tons less ammunition. I feel like you don't value my time as much because you creep forward past that give way sign, knowing well that it puts my life on the line if there's a collision. Every second I break downhill is 10 more. I break my back on the ascent and lose my breath. So don't privilege your rush over mine, when at my speed, it already takes much more time. But I brake because I don't trust you anymore. In my mind, I visualize you edging forwards, testing. It's just a bike. Surely there's enough time. And then right before my eyes, my premonition plays out this rendition of a cat and mouse dancing, but in competition, and where only one of them could die. Despite all the tactical moves I have already assessed, none could address this situation, so I scream, fuck! Because I have no other weapon than my 2 lungs and the panic-induced air compression that I fire against your 2 tons of reinforced metal. That doesn't even leave a cyclist shadow behind, as each bone beats up and over your windshield, hoping to reassemble themselves on the other side. To the owner of the white sedan, license plate SCN 240. A friend of a friend died last year. A potential friend I'll now never get to know. So in safety disco yellow, we ride out of fashion but out of pride, because in strength over fear we continue to strive for a world in which no car, no bike, and no life is worth more than another's. Thank you. My name is Aaron, and I'm a spoken word artist focusing on the multiple sustainability crises that we currently face. And whilst it's not the climate or biodiversity crisis that kills young exchange students cycling in Uppsala, a bike-friendly town, it's the same wrong societal priorities that does it, and that takes another 20 or 30 cyclists per year here in Sweden. I draw on climate science, on my own experiences, and my own feelings of anguish, confusion, frustration, and powerlessness to use poetry as a way to inform, to challenge, and to encourage others to take action and engage themselves in these important questions. If you'd like to follow more of my work, collaborate, or create a space together, you can find me on Instagram. My hashtag is AaronMixedArts, and I have some colorful cards here, artist cards, which you can take. There's a QR code that works on the Instagram app, but not your usual camera. My next poem draws on an analogy that I was taught by Professor Kevin Anderson to teach the logic of carbon budgets. What if you got your life wage today all paid out at an early age for the work you still will do one day, but not yet? Would that be okay? Would you blow it all tomorrow? Or save some for times of sorrow and pain to avoid an early grave? There's no more to borrow. Once it's gone, it can't be regained. You've got funds, but still obliged to work until you're 65, always balancing each dime until the clock stops and you lie in your pine box. So how would you budget your entire life? A strange question, you might ask, but it's the same one with which we're tasked right now. We have 340 gigatons of carbon left until we pass the precipice to diverse existential threats, if not before. The clock is ticking, but we keep begging for more time, but the wrath of the god of physics will remind us that no accounting tricks, no tech, no quick fix, no greenwash reprints can save us from the abyss. We can't slow time, like we can't ignore each gram of carbon dioxide that we vomit up instead of designing a safe way of life. No matter how we package or disguise it, no matter the oversight of all the leaking gas mines, we have a budget of CO2 that we're burning through like an infant would do with their life wage. We leave nothing for rainy days and waste it by granting predatory delays because the big boys, the polluters, still want us to compensate them because they say they're the real losers. I'm sorry, but business as usual that chooses to end all future business is business unusual. So get off center stage with your BAU models of foregone CEO wages because the hypothetical situations in which you still exist amount to none. Stop preying on our future and fight with us for each ton because each delay is not no progress. Each delay is more tons compounding the problem at a rate we can't repay. There is no more scope for delay where emissions rise or remain at the same level or just decrease in some tokenistic way because each second we pay from our carbon budget, ever shrinking, that has to last until we cast all coal, oil, and gas away forever. And leave ourselves a future that retains some dignity and some hope for the countless generations that wait and must find new ways to cope. Thank you. So I use poetry as a tool and as a way to engage people. I think it is a powerful one, but I don't know if I have much other people behind me in that idea. Who here has read an entire poetry anthology in their lifetime? Please put up your hand. It's actually really good. I'd say it's misrepresentative of Sweden in general, but that's amazing. Who here would like to read an entire poetry anthology in their lifetime? A few extra hands. Well, I've set the bar extremely low because I had a project this summer to make a very small poetry anthology. I only have 3 copies here with me today. The rest are coming on Monday, so they didn't arrive in time. I apologize. Here it is. It says, would you like to offset your flight? And it's a poem that I wrote for Professor Alistair Skelton and researchers' desk when I asked, what's an important climate science message that I should try and communicate with poetry? So I only have a few copies here, but I'll leave my contact details here. If you're someone I know or you're someone who lives in Stockholm or Uppsala, then perhaps don't grab one of my 3 copies today. We can be in touch about that. But otherwise, feel free to go for it. I just ask for cost price, which is 25 crowns. But I think one of these 3 copies I've now decided that I will give to Isabella, because it's not every day that you get to perform poetry for a former Deputy Prime Minister of Sweden. It's only happened to me once before. So I'll give you a copy, but then there'll be 2 more up for grabs. And many more from next week onwards. I don't know if Dougal is still here. I couldn't. Yes, hi Dougal. Thank you for your question this morning. My last poem that I'll perform speaks to that. I dream that the economy will grow forever. Never mind its scope. Never mind its hopes. Don't ask what for. Just give us more of everything, of doom and darkness, to anything that sparks the need to use things, to make things, to break things again and again, to take things from those who haven't put a price on them. No dollar sign on the age-old trees, on the pristine streams, on clean air to breathe, yet. Prize things and entice us to consume them and abuse them and grow. Just grow. Anything. Everything. Something. Just always, always, always grow. Because we know. I dream that the economy will grow forever. Said no one fucking ever, because at the very, very, very best, it's just a method for something better, something we actually want, something we could just instead measure, like, are we happy? Will our children be? Will they have the chance to live safe and free from catastrophic climate change? That's actually the wording they use these days. See, not as catastrophic as when you set the economy free from a duty to make shit that no one actually needs. Yeah, that's a catastrophe. But at the worst, or actually right now, it's an addiction in which our world will drown as the sea slowly swallows our coastal towns, because it's the driving force behind our climate breakdown. You may dream the economy will grow to infinity, but dreams that defy physics need a lot of God-like divinity. Cute, yes, to watch your baby grow. But if that didn't stop, maybe a freak show, maybe you think again if it continued at a monthly growth rate of 7% and soon grew past 10 meters high, towering over the city at the age of 5, slowly but surely sucking all the world's breasts dry. Why do we waste so much imagination on fairy tales of eternal growth and societies that never reach maturation? Not all dreams come true. But if we care for those that do, can't we at least choose to hope for something more beautiful than this? But no, growth is here to stay. In fact, it's the only way. We need a growing economy to solve the problems the growing economy causes. That's what they actually say, like its size will save us, not how it behaves. Fact check, Second World War. We would have lost the fight if we didn't know what the economy was for, but they keep it drawing them growth graphs, no matter the dilemma, like dicks erected to the heavens, this sick, wet dream so deeply embedded in every single question, like, what can gender and racial justice do for economic growth? What can nature and climate change do for economic growth? What can this research do for economic growth? That last one, literally the wording in the call for applications for new independent scientific investigations. No wonder no one has the imagination to ask, what does eternal economic growth do for us? When economic growth gains from addiction and depression, from violent aggression, from cancer and war, and the transgression of all future generations' hopes and dreams. What does eternal economic growth do for us? The answer, not that much, because you're still asking the wrong question. Ask, what do we really value? I dream that we learn how to dream again, and that our simple survival shouldn't depend on us to dream so big. Thank you so much.